Are you thinking about moving to the humble Atascocita Kingwood Texas area? If so, here's 3 things that you'll want to know. So the humble Atascocita Kingwood area is a nice place to live. Atascocita was named one of the best places to retire by U.S. News and World Report. It also has Lake Houston's boating and fishing opportunities and also numerous golf courses. Here's 3 things that you need to know before moving to the area. Hi, I'm Will Johnson. I'm a local realtor here in the humble Atascocita Kingwood, Texas area. If you're thinking about moving to or visiting this area, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text message, and get me on Instagram, however you can get a hold of me, because as always, I love to hear from you guys. Alright, so let's get into the video. 3 things that you should know before moving to the humble Atascocita Kingwood, Texas area. Number 1, cost of living and jobs here in the humble Atascocita area. So the humble Atascocita Kingwood area is really a very big suburb. So Humble, Texas is its own city. It has a city hall, but the Atascocita and the Kingwood areas are not. These are very large suburbs, and they use the Humble ISD school system. So the Humble ISD school system runs through them, so you'll hear a lot of people refer to this area all as Humble.
And to make sure we're all on the same page, it's pronounced humble with a silent H.
So what's the cost of living in a humble Atascocita Kingwood, Texas area? So the cost of living in Humble, Texas is generally moderate compared to the Houston area. It's a little lower, but the cost of living in the Atascocita and the Kingwood, Texas area, these big suburbs, is a little higher because the Atascocita and Kingwood, Texas are higher end areas. The Atascocita, Texas cost of living is about 2% higher than the U.S. national average and about 5% higher than the Houston area. According to bestplaces.net, which is where I'm getting my stats from, I'll have a link in the description below. So I'll start off with the Humble, Texas area. Humble, Texas has a population of about 16,000 people. It's a small city, but as I said, the Atascocita and the Kingwood area are very big suburbs in the Houston area. The Humble ISD school system runs through these areas. So the cost of living in Humble, Texas is a 93.4 out of 100, being the U.S. national average. So the cost of living in Humble, Texas is less expensive than the U.S. average and is a little less expensive than the Houston area. So as we look at this chart, overall in Humble, Texas, the cost of living is a 93.4. In Texas, it comes in at a 93.9, and the U.S. average is 100. It's a little lower than the Texas average. Groceries come in at a 96. Health care comes in at a 92. Housing is a 70.3, which is really good. The Texas average is a 84.3, and the U.S. being 100. So houses in the Humble, Texas area are very affordable and they're very good. The median home cost comes in at about $191,000. Utilities at 96.9, transportation at 118.8, and miscellaneous comes in at 101. So as you see, the Humble, Texas area is a lower cost area to live. Like I said, it's a small population of about 16,000 people. Alright, now we'll look at the stats for the cost of living in Atascocita, Texas. So the cost of living, the average comes in at 102. Grocery come in at 98. Healthcare comes in at a 92.4. Housing comes in at a 91.2. The median home cost goes up. Is a very big jump from Humble, Texas to $245,100. Utilities come in at a 97.3. Transportation comes in at a 128.6, and miscellaneous comes in at a 101. So as you can see, the Atascocita area is a higher end area, so the home costs jumped up tremendously compared to the Humble, Texas area, although that a lot of people kind of consider this the same area. So now we'll look at the cost of living in the Kingwood, Texas area. So the cost of living in Kingwood, Texas is going to be roughly the same as Atascocita. So when I looked up the cost of living in Kingwood, Texas, they didn't have the data to support it, but what I did was I looked up the zip codes for Kingwood, and it came up with 3 zip codes. One it shared with Atascocita, and one zip code had no data as far as houses go. But these 2 zip codes came up, which one is 77345 and one is 77339. So for 77345, the overall cost of living was a 114.4, a lot higher than the Atascocita area, and the median home cost was $323,000. And for the other zip code, the overall cost of living came in at a 101.4, and the median home cost came in just a little lower than Atascocita at a 241,700. So what I did was I averaged them together, and when you average them together, the cost of living overall for Kingwood, Texas comes in at a 107.9, and the median home cost for Kingwood, Texas comes in at a 282,350. So that's the cost of living for Kingwood, Texas. But remember that Kingwood, Texas is just a big suburb in Houston, Texas, so it shows up as Houston, Texas. So what kind of jobs are in these areas? So in the humble Atascocita Kingwood, Texas area, there's not many factory type of jobs. A lot of these people work at the power plants or work in the city of Houston at the big skyscrapers and the towers. But this is a suburb, it's a nice place to live, but they do have some businesses there. They have a lot of accounting jobs and things of that nature, but you're gonna see mostly you might have fun places to go, or you might have Walmarts, HEBs, Kroger's, things like that. So it's just a nice area with a lot of nice shopping malls and shopping strips and things of that nature. It's not much industry work in these areas, maybe title companies and, you know, just the common jobs that you would find. But most people who work in these areas travel, they commute, and they work outside of the humble Atascocita Kingwood area. They work inside of the Houston area, in the downtown area, or they work at the power plants. Also, most of the people who live in this area, I think about 90-something% or a high 80% are homeowners. So most of these people own their own homes. A lot of these people are retired, so they come to live here and they don't work anymore. So that wraps things up for the cost of living in the humble Atascocita Kingwood area. And then that brings us to number 2, climate, environment, and neighborhood. What is the environment like in this area? So the humble area is a population of about 16,000 people, and it's a city, has a city hall. The Atascocita area is an area where the population of over 86,000 people, and it's a really like a big suburb. The Kingwood, Texas area is the biggest suburb in all of Houston, Texas. It has a population of about 89,000 people. So Kingwood, Texas is a very big suburb. So I'll start off with the climate in this area. So as I said in previous videos, like on my video on moving to Houston and my video on moving to Beaumont, that the Southeast Texas area is a generally warm climate, but the climates do differ a little bit depending on where you are. So in this area, you can expect summer highs of about 93 degrees, and you can expect winter lows of about 42 degrees. The Atascocita area gets about 55 inches of rain on average per year. The U.S. national, I think, is about 38 inches of rain on average. Also, this being Southeast Texas, this area is subject to tropical storms. So we get tropical storms from time to time. Sometimes they turn into a hurricane. This happens pretty much yearly. We always get tropical storms, but maybe we don't get a hurricane every year. But some years we do get hurricanes. Most of the hurricanes aren't as bad, but sometimes we do get a Category 5 hurricane, like once every 10 years or so. And sometimes we get big hurricanes like a Hurricane Harvey. Most of the people here, the residents, are used to the weather. They know how to prepare for the weather, and most people actually stay in their homes during the weather. So it sounds worse than what it is on the news, but it can be very dangerous if we do get a high category hurricane, and the state does recommend that we evacuate when it's a high category hurricane. Living in Kingwood area offers residents a dense suburb feel, and most residents own their own homes. In Kingwood, there's a lot of parks. Mainly families and young professionals live in Kingwood, and public schools in this area are highly rated. The Atascocita area is very similar to Kingwood. Both Atascocita and Kingwood schools are run by Humble ISD, so a lot of people tend to refer to the area as Humble, Texas. When I worked for cable for about 2 years, I installed cable all over the area, and we all referred to the area as Humble. I didn't really know the specifics of the area until I prepared to make this video, and I saw that the Humble School District ran through this whole area, so now it makes sense why we refer to this area as Humble when Humble is not actually that big. So a lot of people tend to refer to the area as Humble, Texas. Humble, Texas is really a small city with a population of about 16,000. Humble became an oil boom town in the 20th century. Oil was discovered here in 1904. By 1905, Humble oil field was the largest producing oil field in Texas. Humble, Texas has a downtown area with a city hall like a normal city, while Atascocita and Kingwood are just really big suburbs of the Houston, Texas area. As you can tell, because it's expensive to live in this area, that there's some of the best neighborhoods and best schools in the Houston area. Some of the neighborhoods that a lot of people like in this area are the Balmora neighborhood. That's probably #1.
The masterpiece in recreation of a neighborhood centered right here in the middle of the community. Where else can you walk out your front door, take a walk, or ride a cart to something like this?
Some good neighborhoods are neighborhoods like the Groves, and some good ones in Kingwood would be neighborhoods like Kings Manor and Greenwood Lake. So that wraps things up for the neighborhood, climate, and environment here in the Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood, Texas area. It brings us to point number 3, things to do in the Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood, Texas area. What is there to do in this area? So in Southeast Texas, people love food, they love barbecue, and people love to hunt and fish. So you have Lake Houston right here by the Atascocita and the Kingwood area, so people love to go out on the boats, they love to go fishing. People in this area also love to go hunting. Although you might not be able to hunt in this immediate area, a lot of people here are retired and they pride themselves on going out and hunting, and they have these trophies hung up on a wall. So this is also a thing that people here love to do in the whole Southeast Texas area. So now let's get into what is there to do in the actual city. A lot of people in this area love to play golf. There's loaded with golf courses, so people love to go out and play golf and walk around for sport. So people in Southeast Texas love to eat. I'll name off a few places that people love. So first off, people in Southeast Texas love barbecue. So people love barbecue joints where they're cooking brisket, chopped beef, all those type of things. People love their barbecue here in Southeast Texas. They have some type of barbecue festival or competition every year, and sometimes they'll actually come to the Atascocita area to hold this barbecue competition where people get to taste the different barbecue that's in this area. So a few restaurants, I'll just name off a few. This restaurant called Duke's Kitchen is a nice restaurant that people love to go to. Also, the Whiskey Thumper Bar and Grill is another place that people in this area like to go to. Also in Kingwood, they have the Kings Harbor Waterfront Village. This is a very big place where it has different shopping stores there, and they have a lot of different eateries and places to eat there, so you'll definitely want to go visit that one if you're just visiting the area. It's a must go, and you'll also want to go visit that if you're living in this area and you've never been. Now I'll cover some places that people like to go in this area. As I say, it's a big suburb. It's right next to Houston, so it's a lot of things to do in the Houston area, but I would like to just discuss the little things that you could do here in this area. So Atascocita also built a new park. It's a $11.5 million park with several exciting amenities including a large playground with one of the largest skywalks in the area, a dog park for large and small breeds, large picnic pavilions, and much more. Also in Atascocita, people love to go to this place called Speed Sport Racing Park. Speed Sport Racing Park is a high-speed outdoor go-kart racing track featuring a multi-purpose go-karting and racing facility utilizing a rental kart track open to the public and a performance track for both public and private use. Also, a lot of people in Atascocita love this little place where you can go paint. It's called Painting with a Twist. It's very good to use it as a celebration. Enjoy a step-by-step instruction with experienced and enthusiastic local artists. You might leave with one-of-a-kind creation and new-found talent. A lot of people like to go here for birthday parties and other special events. Also in Kingwood, there's this place called Time Loop Arcade. It has retro arcade games, mini golf, and laser tag, and more. It's fun for the whole family, and they have family deals through the week. Also in Kingwood, they have an old McDonald's farm there that people have been loving to go to for decades now. Enjoy a 15-acre farm loaded with petting zoo animals, pony rides, train rides, and much more. So these are just a few little things that's here in the Kingwood and the Atascocita area. Again, these areas are big suburbs. They're owned by the county. The county police are there. The city of Humble doesn't police them, but they do use the city of Humble's independent school district, but everything else is pretty much owned by the county. So in conclusion, living in the Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood area is very nice. The Humble area would be a little more affordable than the Atascocita and the Kingwood area, which are a little more high-end areas, but these are very nice areas with low crime rate that people love to live. We discuss the cost of living in these areas. We discuss the neighborhood's environment and the schools in this area. We discuss the things to do and the activities in this area. If I miss anything, please leave it in the comments below. As always, remember to keep it PG, people. Also, if you're moving to or visiting this area, again, remember to send me a text message, shoot me a Instagram DM, or email, however you can get a hold of me, because as always, I do love to hear from you guys and about your travels. Let me know if I missed anything. Again, also, if you want to be on my email list, remember to put it down in the description below, or send me a text or an email, and I'll send a bi-weekly email on things to do in the Houston area. Until next time, see you in the next video.